I'm in the kitchen right now with my friend Sarah. We're here in Sweden and we've made so many amazing recipes. So I'm gonna be showing you guys all the recipes we're making. Right now we're making dinner. It is inspired by a dish that I had at the Seeds of Life Cafe in Ubud, Bali. I don't think what we're making is gonna come close to how amazing this dish was. It was the best thing I've ever eaten that was raw, and it was a warm Mexican lasagna. And I remember that they had layers of zucchini and some amazing beet cashew cheese and guacamole and tomato sauce or something. Anyways, it was incredible. So if you're ever in Bali, try that if you get the chance to. But right now we are making our own version of it. A lot of these recipes are higher in fat and they're not things that I would usually eat all day, every day, but it's a really nice treat to be able to be in the kitchen with somebody and making delicious recipes and just sharing really good vegan food together. To begin with, we assembled all of the different components of our lasagna. The first thing we did was create the guacamole, and I mashed 2 avocados into a bowl and then added the juice from 1 lime. I also really finely diced some cilantro, about half a bunch, and then added that to the guacamole as well. Then I took 2 stalks of green onions and cut them up pretty finely and then added them too. And instead of adding salt to this recipe, I took 1 stalk of celery and finely diced it, but if you want salt, you could always just add that. I also added some chili flakes just for some spice. The next step was to cut up our zucchini and carrots to make the noodles. And we used a cheese slicer for this. You could also use a mandolin slicer. Anything you could use to peel the zucchini to make really thin, flat slices. These are gonna act as the noodles, and they're relatively flavorless, so even if you don't like zucchini, you don't really notice the flavor of it because of all the other components to the lasagna. And then next up, we made our tomato sauce. And I threw in about 1 pint of cherry tomatoes, a couple of dates, a stalk of celery, some green onions, some chili flakes. I wish we had had sun-dried tomatoes for this because it would have made it so delicious, but unfortunately we didn't have any. And then we've got the guacamole and the cashew beet cheese, which I'm gonna put the recipe for below because I actually forgot to film making the cheese, but it was so delicious. And I know that all of these flavor combinations together may seem a little bizarre, but trust me, it tastes amazing. You could also add in any other layers of sauces or veggies or whatever you like, but I really love the combination of the guacamole and the cashew cheese, the tomato sauce, and the zucchini. The next step was to assemble the lasagna, and I started by taking a regular pan and then lining it with zucchini all along the bottom, those thin, flat slices of zucchini. I then topped it with a little bit of kale just to absorb all of the sauces that I was going to put on top of that, and then put a full layer of guacamole. In hindsight, I probably should have made more guacamole because it was so delicious, just to add more flavor to this, but I put a thin layer on right on top of the kale. Then I added a layer of carrots, and these were thinly sliced with the vegetable peeler as well. These are optional, you don't have to add them, but I just found that they added extra texture and flavor. And then we topped the carrot slices with the cashew beet cheese. I do not recommend skipping this step because this was so good. One of my favorite cashew cheeses that I've tried so far. Having the beet in it makes it such a pretty color, but it also adds an extra sweetness that I usually don't get in a cashew cheese. Oh, I wish I had made more of this. I could eat this stuff just with a spoon. It's so good. And then I topped it with more carrot slices and then put on the last layer of zucchini slices to act as noodles. And then from there, it was just about adding the tomato sauce. Again, I definitely would have added sun-dried tomatoes if we had had them on hand, but either way, the tomato sauce was really good. It will just be a lot more thick and hearty and a little bit sweeter as well if you do add the sun-dried tomatoes. And And the last thing that I added to the lasagna, just because it didn't feel quite finished, was I blended up about half a cup of sunflower seeds with 1 clove of garlic and a little bit of nutritional yeast to make a raw Parmesan. And this really finished off the dish. I'm really glad that I added this. It just added a little extra flavor and texture. Oh, it was so good. This stuff is amazing. It's so easy to make raw vegan Parmesan. Okay, you guys, I'm about to dig into this beautiful raw lasagna concoction. It is a mixture of a beet cashew cheese, a guacamole tomato sauce, and layers of zucchini slices and carrot slices, and then topped with a sunflower seed Parmesan. I hope it's gonna taste good. We tasted all the individual components and it tasted so good. So this isn't really lasagna. I'm calling it lasagna because it's a layered dish, but I rarely get creative like this and I love to have a reason to get creative like this. So we'll see if everybody likes it. The next dish that my friend and I made was a traditional Swedish dish called semla, and this was a raw vegan version. So we started with a little bit of cardamom and then also some almond flour. We just used one that you can buy in a bag, but you could also grind up your own almonds if you want to make homemade almond flour as well. Then we added some mazzafati dates, the ones that are sold here in Scandinavia, and they are so good. We actually found that we needed to add quite a few more dates than the recipe called for, so I will make a note of that below. And then the other ingredient we used was rolled oats, and we just blended them in the food processor to make another flour as well. And this whole recipe here is meant to mimic the bun that they use in the traditional pastry, the semla. And next, my friend Sarah showed me how to assemble the semla. So she used her thumb to just push a little bit of a hole into the bottom part of the bun because that's where the filling goes. And then you cut off the top to top it all with afterwards. And this bun was really hearty. The texture was amazing. It's like nothing I've ever really tried before. I was pretty surprised by how delicious it was. And the next step was to make one of the fillings, and this was like a sweet almond paste, so delicious. We followed this recipe pretty much to a T, so I will post it in the comments or in the description below for you guys. But what we did was we filled the little cavity in there with the almond paste and then made a cashew whipped cream. It was so delicious. Basically just cashews blended with some water and dates and vanilla. And then once they were fully assembled, she topped them with some raw icing sugar. These were so amazing. I was actually really surprised by how much I liked them. They were really hearty and satisfying, which is kind of rare in a raw dish, but they didn't make you feel heavy. Okay, we are eating the, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna say it wrong probably, but semla. This stuff is amazing. This is my new favorite raw dessert. I'm not sure that I had a favorite before, but this is it now. It's amazing. Okay?
So
it's pretty
well balanced.
Yeah, and we're watching, you can hear in the background, we're watching my new favorite show, which is a ridiculous treasure hunting show from Eastern Canada about searching for gold where they find nothing the vast majority of the time.
They found one coin though.
Oh, but they found a coin. So it's actually very intriguing, and it's a really good exercise in futility, definitely watching it, and I'm sure being a part of it. It's called, what is it called?
The Curse of Oak Island.
The Curse of Oak Island. So that's what we were doing here, eating semla and also drinking this amazing tea that I didn't discover it, but it's really good. It's strawberry cupcake green tea by Lipton. So delicious.